Welcome to Explained Simply. Let's explore interesting things in the world together. Today let's find out financial habits that secretly make you richer. 1. The power of buying time. Most people have been conditioned to believe that getting rich means relentless frugality, cutting every subscription, cooking every meal at home, and doing all the chores yourself. It's a mindset rooted in scarcity, where saving a dollar is always prioritized. But if you observe the truly wealthy, you'll notice a stark contrast. They often spend more money, and they do so with a deliberate, strategic intent. Their goal isn't just to save money, it's to buy back the one resource that's finite and irreplaceable: time. Think about it. Paying for grocery delivery, hiring a cleaning service, or investing in software that automates repetitive tasks might seem like luxuries or even wasteful expenses to the average person. However, for the wealthy, every hour they outsource is an hour they can reinvest. That hour can be spent generating more income, deep thinking about strategic opportunities, learning new skills, or simply resting and rejuvenating. All activities that compound exponentially over time. While the average person trades their time for money, the rich flip this equation, trading money for more time. It's not about extravagant spending, it's about intelligent leverage. If your time is worth $50 an hour, and you can pay someone $20 to handle a task, you're not being lazy. You're compounding your productivity and freeing yourself to focus on what truly moves the needle forward in your life and business. This fundamental shift in perspective is what allows them to work on their life, not just in it. 2. Rethinking value. Measuring in hours. There's a silent, yet incredibly powerful habit that can fundamentally rewire your brain's relationship with money. Stop measuring purchases in dollars, and start measuring them in hours. Every transaction transforms from a simple exchange of currency into a trade-off between your wallet and your precious life force. Consider a $60 dinner out. It's not just $60 leaving your bank account. It's 2 or 3 hours of your life that you work to earn that money. A new $1,000 smartphone isn't merely a gadget, it represents approximately 40 hours of your hard-earned time. When you begin to frame expenses in terms of hours of your life, an immediate and profound shift occurs. Your brain suddenly becomes brutally honest about what truly matters to you. This isn't about becoming hyper-frugal, it's about connecting money to genuine meaning and value. When an item or experience effectively costs 10 hours of your life, you instinctively pause and ask yourself, is this truly worth a full day of my existence? More often than not, the answer will be a resounding no. This perspective helps you transcend the fleeting dopamine hits of impulsive spending and cultivates a deep appreciation for your free time, treating it with the same reverence as income itself. The wealthy instinctively operate with this understanding, valuing their time above almost anything else, which in turn leads to more mindful, impactful financial decisions. 3. Leveraging debt strategically. The word debt often evokes fear, and for good reason. Bad debt can feel like quicksand, easy to stumble into, and agonizingly difficult to escape. This type of debt, often used for depreciating assets or immediate gratification, can trap individuals in a cycle of payments and diminishing financial freedom. However, the wealthy understand that debt, when wielded correctly, is not inherently evil. It's a powerful tool, a form of leverage that can dramatically multiply effort and accelerate growth far beyond what simple saving ever could. Think of it as rented speed. It's the engine behind how successful businesses scale, how homeowners build substantial equity over decades, and how savvy investors manage to grow their capital faster than the corrosive effects of inflation. The key distinction lies in who is holding the tool and how they're using it. Poor debt buys temporary comfort, like a car loan for an expensive luxury model. That depreciates the moment it leaves the lot, bleeding you dry with interest. Rich debt, on the other hand, buys freedom and appreciates assets, like a loan for a property that generates income or increases in value over time, effectively paying you back. The intelligent approach isn't to avoid debt entirely, but rather to ensure that whatever you borrow for has the potential to grow in value faster than the interest you owe. This strategic application of debt is a cornerstone of fortune building, transforming a potential trap into a powerful accelerator. 4. The paradox of not saving every penny. It sounds counterintuitive, perhaps even irresponsible, refusing to save every single penny. Conventional wisdom dictates that meticulous saving is the cornerstone of wealth accumulation. Yet, a peculiar paradox exists. Individuals who obsessively try to hoard every dollar rarely achieve true financial abundance. Their entire financial strategy is defensive, hyper-focused on cutting costs and minimizing outflow, but completely neglecting the offensive game of growth. Saving, in this context, becomes a strategy for mere survival, not for expansion. If your primary focus is solely on cost-cutting, your financial world inevitably shrinks around the perceived safety of a static bank balance. You might save a few dollars here and there, but you're limiting your potential for exponential gain. The wealthy, however, understand that true growth comes from strategic spending, investing deliberately in things that expand income. This includes acquiring new skills through courses, purchasing essential tools that boost efficiency, or nurturing valuable relationships that open doors to new opportunities. They don't fret over a $5 coffee. Their attention is fixated on identifying and seizing $50,000 opportunities. Hoarding money, ironically, often breeds fear and stifles initiative. Investing it, conversely, builds momentum, generating further income and assets. You don't become wealthy by being cheap. You become wealthy by being efficient and by putting your money to work. Money's inherent purpose is to circulate, to build, and to multiply. If it's trapped under a mattress, it ceases to be money in its truest sense and simply becomes inert paper. 5. Investing in yourself. The highest return. Of all the investment strategies discussed, investing in yourself might feel the most unconventional, perhaps even selfish. As it involves spending money directly on personal development rather than traditional savings or external assets. However, this is arguably the single highest return asset class available in existence. Courses, coaches, therapy, mentors, fitness programs, these all appear as expenses on paper. But their true cost pales in comparison to the profound changes they can bring to your output, effectiveness, and overall earning potential. Consider a course that teaches a high-demand skill, a coach who refines your leadership abilities, or therapy that resolves limiting beliefs. These aren't just purchases, they are catalysts that multiply your value in the marketplace. Another crucial aspect of self-investment is paying for accountability. Most people rely on motivation, which is notoriously fickle and unreliable. Accountability, however, automates progress. When you commit financially to a mentor, a mastermind group, or even a personal trainer, you create an external force that demands consistency and results. The money you spend creates a powerful incentive, a deadline, a deliverable, a goal that you are now compelled to meet. When you attach a real monetary cost to not making progress, you naturally pay more attention and accelerate your growth exponentially. The wealthy understand that their greatest asset is their own capability, and they are always willing to invest in sharpening that edge. 6. Why good deals are often bad. Everyone is instinctively drawn to a deal, that irresistible 30% off, the tempting buy one get one offer, or the urgent, limited time only promotion. That rush of feeling like you've won by saving money is precisely what keeps countless individuals perpetually broke. The fundamental truth often overlooked is that a deal, regardless of its apparent discount, is still an expense. The percentage off becomes irrelevant if you didn't genuinely need the item in the first place. This is the insidious trap. Sales are expertly crafted to make you feel intelligent for spending money slower, rather than smarter for not spending at all. Wealthy individuals rarely chase deals, and for a critical reason. They understand that attention is the real, hidden cost. Every good deal that captures your focus, every hour spent browsing sales, every moment deliberating a discounted purchase, is time and mental energy diverted from activities that actually generate income or create value. Discounts are marketing tactics, not miracles designed to enrich your life. Imagine being offered a 50% discount on an item that was deliberately marked up twice its original value. You've been expertly manipulated into paying the normal price, feeling like you got a bargain. The rich measure value not by the discount, but by utility. If something genuinely improves their life, streamlines their work, or adds significant value, they are willing to pay full price. If it doesn't, it's considered overpriced, even if it's offered at a staggering 90% off. While poor individuals remain busy saving pennies on unnecessary items, the wealthy focus on acquiring what truly serves their purpose. Understanding that it's far better to pay full price for something essential than to get a massive discount on something you don't need. 7. Overpaying with purpose. The concept of intentionally overpaying for something feels inherently foolish to most people. Why would anyone willingly part with more money than is absolutely necessary? This thinking stems from a scarcity mindset, where every dollar saved is a victory. However, this is precisely why overpaying on purpose is a profound and effective strategy for wealth building. It's not about wasting money, but about fundamentally rewiring your financial psychology. The vast majority of people operate in a constant state of financial survival, always calculating the bare minimum. The lowest payment, the cheapest option, the absolute minimum bid. This approach reinforces a subconscious belief that money is scarce and must be hoarded out of fear. Overpaying flips this deeply ingrained psychology. When you consistently round up payments, deliberately send extra money towards a credit card balance, or proactively pay bills before they're due. Money is not something to be feared and clutched tightly. It is a tool that you control, an abundant resource at your disposal. This act, in itself, cultivates an abundance mentality. Instead of the nagging thought, "I can't afford this," your mind begins to default to, "I am ahead." This shift changes everything. You gain peace of mind instead of constant financial pressure. Your debts shrink faster. And your relationships, both with money and with other people, become cleaner because you stop nickel and diming every interaction. It's a strategic psychological investment that yields immense returns in confidence and financial freedom. 8. Embracing expensive mistakes for growth. Our conventional upbringing often imprints upon us the belief that every mistake comes with a price tag, and therefore, mistakes are to be avoided at all costs. The wealthy, however, hold a radically different perspective. They intentionally spend on mistakes. Buying inexpensive equipment that fails, outsourcing a task too early, or paying for someone else's error might initially feel like a poor financial decision, a loss. But in the grander scheme, these are strategic risks, calculated investments in clarity and learning. The cost of a failed experiment or a suboptimal decision is almost always less than the opportunity lost by remaining paralyzed by inaction or fear. Wealthy individuals prioritize paying for clarity over comfortable stagnation. The moment you shed the relentless pursuit of perfection and stop trying to sidestep every potential misstep, you unlock an accelerated learning curve. Each failed experiment transforms into a valuable data point. Every misstep becomes a crucial calibration. True wealth isn't built on a spotless record of flawless decisions, but rather on the agility to correct courses rapidly and adapt. Spending a small sum now to definitively learn what doesn't work is an investment that saves exponentially more later in wasted time, prolonged indecision, and missed opportunities. Mistakes do cost money, undeniably. But chronic indecision and the fear of making a wrong move can cost you years of progress. The core lesson here is profound. Wealthy individuals almost always prefer to waste money rather than waste irreplaceable time. 9. Detaching emotion from money. For many, their bank balance is a direct barometer of their emotional state. When funds are plentiful, they experience a sense of security and well-being. When the balance dips, panic, anxiety, and desperation set in. This emotional rollercoaster creates a dangerous feedback loop, leading to impulsive and often regrettable financial decisions. The wealthy, by contrast, diligently learn to emotionally detach themselves from this cycle. They perceive money not as a mood indicator or a source of emotional validation, but purely as a functional tool. Detachment in this context does not imply indifference or a lack of care, rather, it signifies independence. When your emotions are inextricably tied to your income or investment performance, you become vulnerable to making desperate choices. This could manifest as chasing quick, risky wins, selling off assets prematurely during a market downturn, or making hasty purchases driven by an ephemeral feeling of abundance. Emotional neutrality is a crucial skill for sustained financial success. It's what enables seasoned investors to remain calm and rational when markets experience turbulent crashes, and what allows creative entrepreneurs to stay focused and resilient even when initial results lag behind expectations. The rich treat money like oxygen, essential for life, but largely invisible and taken for granted once it's flowing freely and consistently. They track their finances, respect its power, and understand its utility. But they steadfastly refuse to allow it to define their self-worth or dictate their emotional landscape. The moment money gains control over how you feel, it inevitably gains control over what you do. 10. Ignoring financial windfalls. When most people experience an unexpected financial gain, a tax refund, a work bonus, a small inheritance, or a lucky crypto spike, their immediate instinct is often to celebrate by spending it. There's a powerful dopamine hit associated with newfound, unearned money, and the urge to indulge is incredibly strong. However, the rich typically respond to such windfalls with a remarkable act of restraint. They often do nothing at all. They act as if the extra money never even arrived. This isn't about being ungrateful or ignoring good fortune. It's about a disciplined psychological training. Every unplanned dollar that comes their way is quietly and systematically transformed into an invisible worker. It's immediately invested, automated into savings, or strategically earmarked for the next significant opportunity. By resisting the impulsive urge to spend, they actively strengthen their self-control and reinforce a long-term wealth-building habit. True wealth, they understand, isn't primarily built on the infrequent big wins, but rather on how consistently and intelligently you manage the small, unexpected ones. Each time you treat a surprise dollar not as extra money for immediate gratification, but as just another tool to be put to work, you reinforce the habits that progressively build financial freedom. This deliberate act of ignoring the immediate gratification prevents you from resetting your financial progress every time life presents you with a lucky break, ensuring that every windfall contributes silently and powerfully to your long-term success. 11. Training for risk, not avoiding it. A common misconception is that wealthy individuals are simply born with an innate love for risk, akin to gambling. The reality, however, is far more nuanced. They actively train for it. Instead of shying away from uncertainty, they constantly expose themselves to small, controlled risks. This isn't reckless behavior. It's a deliberate practice designed to build tolerance and resilience, ensuring that when larger, more significant opportunities arise, they are not paralyzed by fear. Every decision that induces a degree of uncertainty, whether it's launching a modest side project, exploring a new career path, or making an early-stage investment, serves as a rep in their risk training regimen. The average person meticulously avoids this feeling of unease, seeking comfort and predictability above all else. The rich, conversely, actively seek it out. They understand that there is no legitimate path to substantial wealth that doesn't involve navigating through a certain level of risk. Risk isn't merely a barrier, it's the inevitable tollgate separating comfort from true financial freedom, and it cannot be bypassed. Crucially, the wealthy recognize that it's not the act of taking a risk itself that typically leads to financial ruin, but rather the panic that ensues when things don't go perfectly. They diligently learn to separate legitimate danger from mere fear, empowering them to act decisively before everything feels perfectly safe or certain. Every significant fortune began with someone willing to step purposefully into uncertainty. The ultimate goal isn't to eliminate risk entirely, which is an impossibility. It's to become so familiar with it that you no longer require absolute certainty to boldly move forward. 12. True affordability, peace of mind. When most people consider a purchase, their mental question is simply, can I buy this? This often translates to, do I have the money in my account right now, or can I get a loan, credit for it? This perspective is heavily skewed towards immediate availability, often leading to purchases made through debt, credit, or significant personal sacrifice. The wealthy, however, approach this question with a profoundly different, more discerning lens. They ask, can I afford this? There's a vast chasm between being able to buy something and truly being able to afford it. You can technically acquire almost anything using leverage, but you can only genuinely afford what will not negatively impact your stress levels after the transaction is complete. If a purchase steals your sleep, consumes your valuable time, or compromises your future financial freedom, it is not affordable, it is merely available. The wealthy measure true affordability in terms of peace of mind, not just the price tag. They approach purchases slowly, deliberately, and only when the acquisition costs them nothing beyond the monetary value. The deep truth is that simply having the capacity to buy something doesn't make you rich. What does make you rich is having the ability to buy it and then feel absolutely nothing afterward, no guilt, no anxiety, no financial strain. This signals that the purchase was well within their means and aligns perfectly with their overarching financial tranquility. 13. Harnessing envy as a growth tool. For most people, envy is a toxic emotion, a feeling to be suppressed or hidden due to its negative connotations. It's often perceived as a sign of weakness or resentment. The wealthy, however, have mastered the art of transmuting envy into a powerful source of data and motivation. When they experience a flicker of jealousy, seeing someone else's success, lifestyle, or achievement, they don't recoil from it. Instead, they lean into it and study it. They understand that envy isn't merely a bitter feeling, it's an internal compass, pointing directly to the gap between what they genuinely desire and what they have currently built or achieved. If that feeling of, "I wish I had that," arises, it's a strong indicator that something within them recognizes the possibility of attaining it. Rather than resenting the successful individual, they engage in a process of reverse engineering. They meticulously analyze that person's habits, systems, mindset, and strategies, dissecting their path to success until jealousy transforms into an actionable map for their own journey. Envy becomes their emotional navigator, precisely showing them where their next level of growth and aspiration lies. While the poor strive to silence or ignore envy, the rich actively try to decode it, recognizing that you cannot transform what you are unwilling to examine. Every feeling of, "Why not me?" Don't forget to support this kind of content by subscribing and watching this other super curious video you'll love.